6 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Hassan Gilani. First, the headlines. Prime Minister says country can move on path of progress after elimination of load shedding and terrorism. Foreign Minister has reaffirmed Pakistan's commitment to a stable, peaceful and prosperous Afghanistan. Pakistan has stressed the need for reforms to strengthen United Nations for a better future. Military leadership has expressed a resolve to shoulder its constitutionally mandated responsibilities to meet challenges confronted by the country. All Parties Hurriyat Conference says India has turned the occupied territory into a hell for its inhabitants, where Indian troops are committing heinous crimes with impunity on daily basis. The group of 7 nations have called for reducing gas consumption and increasing electricity from renewable sources. Second T20 of 5-match series between Pakistan and New Zealand is being played in Lahore tonight. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has expressed the hope that country would be out of all difficulties soon. He was addressing a ceremony after reviewing the construction work on 6-lane overhead bridge of Imamia Colony Railways crossing at Shahdara near Lahore today. He said that there existed economic challenges, but the nation would have to decide whether they would live on foreign debts or stand on its own feet through dedication and hard work. He said the country could move on the path of progress and prosperity after resolving chronic issues of load shedding and terrorism. The Prime Minister said that inflation and price hike have made the lives of ordinary people difficult, but the coalition government was cognizant of these effects. He regretted that during the last 4 years of PTI's tenure, a number of public welfare-oriented projects were stopped, besides putting other vital projects into cold shortage. He said for the first time in the country's history, about 80 to 100 million people are being benefited from free flower scheme, for which 65 billion rupees have been spent in the month of Ramadan alone. Later, Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif paid a surprise visit to the government teaching hospital. During his visit, he reviewed the facilities being provided to the patients. He met the patients and inquired about the standard of health facilities. He directed the administration to make the public service their motto. Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has reaffirmed Pakistan's commitment to a stable, peaceful and prosperous Afghanistan. He was talking to Acting Afghan Minister for Foreign Affairs Amir Khan Muttaqi on telephone today. They discussed a range of issues of mutual interest. Pakistan has called for strengthening the United Nations, saying the organization remains a hope for an equal and peaceful world in the future. Speaking as panelist at the event in the UN headquarters, Pakistan's ambassador to the United Nations, Munir Akram, regretted that the world body lacks the power to make much needed changes. He pointed out that the Security Council is an unequal body. The General Assembly has no binding powers, while the powers of finance lie in Washington and trade in Geneva. Military leadership has reiterated the armed forces' commitment to fully support national responses against internal and external threats. The resolve was expressed at the Corps Commanders Conference chaired by Chief of Army Staff General Syed Asim Munir at GHQ Rawalpindi. According to ISPR, the forum reviewed domestic and regional environment, including external and internal security challenges confronted by Pakistan. The forum reaffirmed that military leadership is cognizant of the full spectrum of challenges, and it resolves to shoulder its constitutionally mandated responsibilities with support of the resilient people of Pakistan. Minister for Law Azam Nazir Tarar says the conspiracy to divide the lawyers community will not succeed. Addressing a ceremony of Punjab Bar Council in Lahore today, he said legislation is the sole right of the parliament. He termed the coalition government as lawyers-friendly government. Azam Tarar said government has taken many steps for the welfare of lawyers community, including legislation for the protection and welfare of lawyers and allocation of budget for bar councils. The 13th meeting of Punjab Cabinet, chaired by caretaker Punjab Chief Minister Syed Mohsin Raza Naqvi, was held in Lahore today. The Cabinet approved to enter into an agreement with the government of Gilgit-Baltistan regarding cooperation in computerization of land records. Punjab Cabinet also accorded approval to new schemes of Children's Hospital in Annual Development Programme 2022-23. Addressing the meeting, the caretaker Chief Minister said the provincial ministers, administrative and police officers and staff are working day and night to make free flower package a success. He also issued directions to make necessary administrative measures to stop sugar smuggling. This is Radio Pakistan. All Parties Hurriyat Conference has deplored that Narendra Modi-led fascist Indian government has usurped all basic rights, including right to life, of the people of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In a statement issued in Srinagar, the APHC spokesman said, India has turned the occupied territory into a hell for its inhabitants, where Indian troops are committing killings, arrests, torture, destruction of properties, molestation of women, and other heinous crimes with impunity on a daily basis. In a statement, Anjuman-e-Awqaf Jamia Masjid Srinagar condemned the occupation authorities for once again imposing restrictions and disallowing Friday prayers on the auspicious occasion of Jumatul Wida yesterday at the historic mosque. National Conference President Farooq Abdullah also said disallowing of Jumatul Wida prayers at the historic mosque exposes the Indian government's claims on changed ground situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Former Governor of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, Satyapal Malik, has blamed Narendra Modi government for the Pulwama incident in 2019, in which over 40 Indian troops were killed. In an interview, he termed the attack as a massive intelligence failure and the result of incompetence of Modi's government. In Sudan, heavy gunfire and explosions have been heard in capital Khartoum today after the clashes between government army and paramilitary group Rapid Support Forces. Shooting and blasts took place in the vicinity of Sudan's army headquarters, defense ministry, presidential palace, and airport. A spokesman for Sudan's army denied the presidential place had been seized and termed the other RSF claims untrue. Foreign Office spokesperson Mumtaz Zahra Baloch says our mission is in contact with all Pakistanis in Khartoum to ensure their safety. In a tweet today, the spokesperson said we are closely monitoring the security situation in Sudan. Japan, South Korea, and United States have agreed to enhance security cooperation in response to rising threats from North Korea. It was announced in a joint statement issued at the end of the 13th Defense Trilateral talks in Washington, D.C. They condemned the North Korea's test of its first ever solid-fuel intercontinental ballistic missile. In Ukraine, nine people have been killed and 21 injured in the eastern city of Slovensk after Russian missiles hit residential buildings. Russia's spokesman for Battle Group Center Alexander Shovik said Russian army aviation also struck an ammunition depot, positions of artillery units, and areas of concentration of equipment and personnel of the Ukrainian military. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky decried Russia for brutally shelling residential buildings and killing people in broad daylight. The group of 7 nations have called for reducing gas consumption and increasing electricity from renewable sources. Talking to reporters on the first of 2 days of climate and energy talks in Sapporo in northern Japan, France's energy transition minister said G7 environment and energy ministers, however, could not agree on a specific date to exit coal power. In Bangladesh, 15 people, including 9 fighters, injured due to massive fire engulfed in Dhaka's new supermarket, which devastated nearly 1,000 shops. The second T20 of 5-match series between Pakistan and New Zealand will be played in Lahore tonight. The match will start at 9 p.m. And finally, the weather. Mainly hot and dry weather is expected in most plain areas of the country during the next 12 hours. Rain with wind and thunderstorm is expected at isolated places in Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Kashmir, and Gilgit-Baltistan. And this is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.